Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth and on Make It Monday today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Imagination Crafts Wind in Your Hair Poppy Dimension die. So I'm so excited to show you this. I love making flowers and a poppy is one of my favourite flowers, so I can't wait to show you how I've made what I'm going to show you today and all the products that I'm going to use. So starting off, this is the die set. So in this die set you do get a completely different range of different size petals. The amount and quality that you do get is amazing. So we're going to be using this die set for today. So I'm going to cut this out twice, so each from each petal. We're going to get two of those. So all I've done is I've prepped just a piece of cardstock, and on it I've used a mixture of the Cadence Hybrid Acrylic in Fuchsia. We've got the Mixed Media ink spray in yellow, and then just to mute it down a little bit I've got the Cadence Gesso. So I wanted this to look more of like a washed out peachy sort of pink, which I think works really nice for the poppy because we've not got a bright red in this collection, which I was a bit, when I first saw it I was a bit stumped because I was like, oh, what colour am I going to use? But then I mixed all these amazing colours and I was like, wow, this is really great, something a little bit different from your basic red poppy. So all I've done is, like I've said, cut this flower out with my cardstock. So when you see flowers, they're not completely flat, we have got a lot of dimension in there. So all I've done, I want to scrunch these up. So not being too careful with them. So when I'm scrunching it, we're going to open it out. And it makes it such more easier to work with when we're moulding them and when we're going to use our ball tool in a second. So I'm going to keep working with them. Just scrunch them up, you're not being too precious about this. Keep going. And then because I am going to be curling the poppy upwards, what I've done is I've just lightly washed the backs of them so the white wasn't so intense on the other side, because you are going to be seeing that, which I liked because I liked the different depths and dimensions of the colours, but I didn't want it to be so intense, so I've just toned that down just a little bit. So next, I'm going to be taking the Cadence Dora Perla. Now I've just discovered this product and I absolutely love it. So inside this pot is a lovely textured paste. So it's sort of like a grainy crystal sort of sand-like feel. So I've swatched a few just to show you what they actually look like so you can actually hear and feel all the texture on here. So on there, it's rough, we've got depth and dimension, we can keep building all these layers and they look great across all your crafts. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a brush, let's take a little bit off on my glass mat. So I want to pick out all these cracks and all these marks in the paper so we've got a little bit more interest on there. So I'm just going to lightly brush across, picking up all the creases on there. Keep going. So then it saves it just from being a flat colour, which is something I really like to do. And I think when I'm going to apply this to my other projects just so it matches in, because I want to make this Wind in Your Hair collection really sparkly, glittery, and with all the other colours in the collection I know the background's going to need to match the foreground, so I just wanted to add a little hint of colour in there. And then I'm going to be taking my distress paste, because just on the edge, I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a little white edge and I want to take this away, so I'm going to be using the Cadence Distress Paste a tiny bit, take a lot off on my glass mat, then just on the corners I'm just going to tone that down and just buff it in. So again, this is another layer of depth and dimension when we're building the flower. You can even take it onto the poppy as well if you want, just so we pick up a little bit more of those creases. You can keep going on how intense you want with all the colours and the distress paste, but on this I just want a little hint just on the corners. Lovely. So next I'm going to be taking my foam mat and my ball tool. So I'm taking quite a large ball tool, and all I'm going to do is manipulate the flower petals on the front and on the back. So this again is just making it so much more easier to work with, and the flowers, when we're going to build them, are going to be so much more easier to bend. So you can see I'm bringing that to life, scrunching it up, moving on. I think I'm happy with that. You can also do it with your hands as well, so it doesn't just have to be with the ball tool. We can still keep going, still keep manipulating that. I like to do it as well when it's a little bit warm, like if I've heated it up with a hairdryer, just so it loosens the particles of the paper a little bit more, because I find that's sort of easier to work with as well. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go on to assemble the flower now. So I'm going to be using hot glue today. So I'm going to take the bottom petal, and I'm just going to start off by just popping a little bit in the centre, like so, and then building the next layer into the centre, popping more glue on there. Just leaked a little bit over, so I'm going to take a little bit of that glue from that last petal and stick it on. And then while it's still wet, I can manipulate it, all the petals to overlap and fit lovely into that poppy shape. Lovely. So while that sets and it's drying, I want to show you how I've made the inside of the poppy. So this is just a dark brown embroidery thread. So I've just cut a length off. So all I'm going to do is take my 3 fingers, starting off just locking it in place with my thumb on the middle one, wrapping it round, and then we can just, not too tight because we want to slide it off our fingers, and then we're going to lock it in place. By pinching it in the middle, and then we're just going to wrap that round. And pull. And then all we're going to do is just snip here and here. So then when that's together, it's going to form the inside of our poppy. And then you can trim it down to the length that you'd want it inside the poppy to match your flower. So then that's formed the inside part of our poppy. So I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit thicker, which I think matches my poppy a little bit better. So pinching it all together, I'm just going to pop a little bit of hot glue onto the bottom of there. Pop it on in the centre. Then all you have to do from there is fluff it out. And then we can still manipulate all of our petals. You can even glue some petals together just so they stay in the place that you want them to stay. Anyway, I think I'm happy with that. And then all I've done is I've cut some of the leaves from the set and built them up like so. So you can keep going with these, keep on adding as many petals as you want. You can add different sizes in there. There is a variety of different leaves as well and little buds, so I can't wait to see what you do with all your mixed media flower dies. Thank you.